Hello my friends and welcome back. Thank you very much for being with me again today. I've been talking about small steps and mountain slope model that I use when I look at the mass media and the statements made by the politicians whenever they want to impose something on us or make us agree with something. They don't come and tell us straight, we want to give Ukraine tanks, we want to give Ukraine aircraft, we want to give Ukraine long-range missile systems. No, they start easy. They start with helmets, they start with bullets, they start with armored vehicles, they start with other stuff until they get eventually to where they wanted to get us. Because we just small increments, puck. Now it will be a jump from 0 to tanks and airplanes, so you have to build it. So we got that point where we are almost there. So usually they do like this when I try to get to the top to tell you, hey, you know what, we give them tanks. They will start, hey, maybe they need to defend themselves. Oh, maybe they need some heavy weaponry. Oh, maybe tanks would be a good idea. Oh, maybe tanks. We're talking about maybe providing, but not yet. Yeah, we think about giving them. Yeah, we give them tanks. So that's how it goes. So in this case, we have Germany. That I don't really understand what's going on here with Germany, to be honest. They really don't have any independent foreign policy. I don't know if they have a native, or how do you call it, internal policy. Outside, it seems like they don't do what their interests should dictate. Well, let's see. This article comes from the New Voice of Ukraine, and it's from October 28, 2022. Germany will eventually transfer Leopard tanks to Kiev, says Ukrainian Ambassador Makeiev. Now, they're in talks over there. They're about to decide. They're not certain yet. I tell you, they will eventually. So they're at the latest step. I mean, one more step in, yeah, they give us. So they eventually will transfer Leopard tanks to Kiev. And I'm quoting, "I'm confident that Germany will be ready for a political decision on the supply of armored vehicles and tanks, as we were able to convince, it was not you, to convince Germany to change its position on multiple launch rocket systems." See, those came. Artillery, man-portable air defense systems, as well as air defense systems. The diplomat says, yeah, little by little you got to the jackpot. Tanks now, and the next one is going to be airplanes. So, and the article continues by saying that at the same time, he said, that this requires, quote-unquote, difficult diplomatic work. So it's not there yet. They want to see how you and I react towards this. Well, it's not really certain it is, but this is a lot of diplomatic effort. We would like much more dynamism. Makeiev added. That means what? Giving you everything. That's dynamism. And I'm quoting again, "I will do everything to ensure that Ukraine is provided with modern weapons to protect its territorial integrity." End quote. Okay, good for you. Berlin's position is that it is reluctant to transfer main battle tanks to Ukraine until the United States supplies its M1 Abrams main battle tanks. What is this? So they are waiting, the Germans are waiting for the boss to step on the fire first and see if the fire will burn. And then they will step after that. Because they're thinking, let the Americans do it, see how the Russians react. And if nothing happens, then we can do it as well. And if Russia gets upset, we say, yeah, but look at those guys, they did it too. So we must be on the side of the right. That's a very, very impotent attitude and foreign policy of, if you can believe, Germany. So Berlin's position is that it is reluctant until they get the M1 Abrams. President of the European Parliament, Roberta Metsola, earlier called for the provision of Leopard-2 tanks to the Ukrainian armed forces to help it fight off invasion from Russia. Why didn't you give it the first day? I mean, it was an invasion then too. What changed? They had to build it, that's all. So why didn't they give, if they really believed in the moral right of Ukraine and, you know, the West or whatever they want to call it, values and blah, 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 why didn't they give Ukraine in the 24th or 25th of February? Why did they wait until now, after 8 months, almost 9 months or whatever, right? Because we were not ready. And then little by little they tried. The same thing with COVID. This is the first step. COVID is the first step. And remember how it started. With masks or no masks. With this or no this. No, we're not gonna. No, yeah, maybe. And we got at the end to the position where they did anything they wanted with us. The population was so scared, some strata of the population was so scared that they were hysterical. They wanted everyone to do something with their bodies and so on. Okay, well, why don't you do it? Oh, well, okay. And then you know what's going on. So the problem is not what had happened. It's going to be a next one. I guarantee you. It's going to be a next one, and not of the same kind. I'm not saying it's going to be a pandemic. It's going to be something else. And they already had the power. They already assumed the power to do whatever they want, really. So the next time they will get higher than that. They will get the stakes higher. They will get the bar higher. Because that's how bullies do. That's how tyrants do. They don't just go, rarely they go and, all right, I'm a tyrant. First they say, well, I'm going to change this. Let's help. And once you get, remember, if you consider, let's say, Fidel Castro, one of those guys, which he was a dictator, so he was not, you know. How did he start? He didn't start saying, I'm a communist. He was not a communist. He was a communist when the United States said, no. You took those, you nationalized that, you do that. You have to allow everything back over there. It's not the Cubans, it's actually, you're our guy over here. And then he requested some money. He was not given unless he was reverting things that Batista had, the guy before him. And then he went to Soviet Union. And he got everything from the Soviet Union, and he became all of a sudden, not all of a sudden, but, and then became this and this. They were gradual, if you want to. And a lot of guys turn gradually to that position. Some of them take over with a sword, and that's it. So, in response to earlier requests by Ukraine to Germany for the supply of modern tanks, German Foreign Minister Annalena Baerbock said that the priority for Ukraine now is air defense systems. She called the supply of tanks a secondary issue. Well, you already fulfilled the first requirement. And so you see how they try to get us used. So it's not that it's about if, it's when. So it's not, well, we'll see if we don't know. It's when. Now the first priority is air defense, and then the tanks. So the tanks is like, it goes without saying that they will come. So see, from nothing, no tanks, to, well, first let's get that, and then we get to that one. That's not the first priority, it's the second. So that means next step. These guys are really, they function with, and they use the same technique over and over and over. You just have to look at the pattern. Next time, when something like this happens, and it will happen, not a war necessary, a pandemic, something that is going to be like global warming, and we are in an emergency, you'll find out that everything they did in the pandemic, everything that the way they build things, that little by little our freedoms were and so on, that's going to be done higher, like the bullies. That's what they do. They try one time, you don't react, they're going to try next time even higher. You don't react, higher, until they get them punched in the face and so on. But first, they don't come and punch you in the face. They give you a look, they make a comment, they give you a shoulder, they give you an elbow, they smack you, and then on and on. You know, first is verbal, and then they get physical. Rarely the bully just goes straight to you and punches you. No, because he doesn't know, he's not willing to get hurt. Because the bullies get hurt too. So it's not like, oh, I'm going to have fun fighting. No, maybe the other guy's going to kick my ass. So I want to win everything without a fight, if possible. Only me punching, the other person just being too terrified to punch back because I built all this psychological I don't know, power, imaginary power. But I won psychologically. And then I smack you and you will not move. Unless it gets in a state of, how do you call that? Like your life is threatened, and then you get desperate and you're cornered, and then you're gonna jump and you realize you can beat the bully. All right, well, tanks is next, and airplanes gonna be next, and troops is gonna be next. But not troops because they don't want to have their boys killed, so they don't have a problem. But if they build a momentum, like Russians are so criminals and so, you know, terrorists and so on, probably the population will support that, but they need a little bit to work harder to get the population. If they make it look like the Russians will be at their doorstep, then they will say, yeah, send our boys there. It's so easy. Thank you very much for being with me again today. Stay strong, stay smart, look for the truth, and be just.